You've stepped into a protected space for Black women founders to think, build, and breathe. A dedicated space for those of us carrying brilliance and the challenges that come with it. Here, we honor your time, your growth, and your unique journey. So if you're navigating to year 5 and beyond, hey sis, you're in the right place. These conversations offer insight, relief, and honest perspective. I'm Linette Cottrell, and this is the Empower Her Business podcast, where we talk mindset, money, and thriving. Let's get right into another great episode. Well, hello, everyone, and welcome again to the Women of Color in Business podcast. Today, we're doing one of our fabulous roundtables, and we have with us two beautiful, brilliant Black women entrepreneurs. We're going to be talking today about radical self-love, and I want to begin with giving you a very broad definition of what radical self-love looks like and sounds like for we're talking about in the context of being a Black woman entrepreneur. So radical self-love is the intentional and revolutionary commitment to honor your inherent worthiness as a Black woman and an entrepreneur without needing external validation. Now, for us, it involves a lot of unlearning. So unlearning internalized messages of inferiority, claiming and reclaiming self-definition, so the power to define ourselves, and choosing practices that sustain our body, mind, and spirit in our business, even as we walk through, live through, build through spaces that are not designed to value us. So 3 main points about radical self-love for a Black woman entrepreneur is it's inclusive of self-preservation as a political resistance. And what that looks like is taking time to rest, heal, and prioritize our well-being, and not seeing that as an indulgence. It's a necessity. Another one is unlearning oppression's imprint. So a lot of times we deal with different issues that serve systems that don't serve us, like the corporate beauty standards. We've all heard about the Crown Act. These that perpetuate for us what is really self-hatred. But we're actively replacing those beliefs with compassion, self-acceptance, and grounded action. And lastly, self-definition and emergence. And this is when we empower ourselves to name our own value, our own interests, and set our own boundaries and truth. Moving from an internalized oppression towards a liberated free mind. And to sum it up, when we practice radical self-love as entrepreneurs, it affects our business choices from our pricing. Sometimes we don't connect that, but it affects how we price what we do. Our client relationships, those boundaries we set with our clients. And these are intentional extensions of our love for ourselves and our community. So that's a broad definition of radical self-love and how it pertains to us. My personal definition sounds more like this. For me, radical self-love is about how I see, love, and honor myself through my own eyes, with my own heart, and my own spirit. And the entrepreneurship part of it is about how I build wealth and legacy in sync with this value-filled vision. And it's radical because it is not subordinate to any person or any societal systems. So that, audience, is your introduction to the radical self-love we'll be talking to today as it pertains to us as Black women entrepreneurs. So we're going to begin with allowing these beautiful Black women to introduce themselves to you. So as we jump right into our subject, you will know who's speaking. So let's begin with Dr. Kristian Edwards. Please introduce yourself.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me. And I love the topic. Self-love and self-care is a core part of the mission of what I've created. I'm the creator of Black and Green, and Black and Green is an ecosystem I founded like in 2017 with the real core goal of helping Black women live happy, healthy, and free.
Mm,
That was my mission, to try to help Black women live happy, healthy, and free. One of our strategies of doing that was connecting them with non toxic products. I wrote my dissertation on health disparities and understanding how the products that we were using, the products that are marketed to us, um, are killing us. And so
mm,
trying to help Black women through self love and through self care be more conscientious about the choices that they were making. So,
mm,
Black and Green is there to hold hands with you to help you make more conscientious choices because the things that we need, we may not have learned. And
mm.
so it takes some unlearning and it takes some a commitment and an openness to learn again and
Yes.
replace old habits that may actually be old bad habits that you don't realize are bad habits.
Mm. Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you, thank you. And Miss Valencia.
I'm so honored and excited to be here. I'm Lia Valencia Key. I am creator of Valencia Key jewelry. I consider it wearable joy, wearable light. Valencia means bravery and courage, and key is, as we know, is a tool that helps unlock. So it is my prayer, my mission, when you get Valencia Key in your life, that it's wearable visual reminders that you have the keys inside of you to consistently unlock your courage, unlock your light, unlock your bravery, and that all things are possible. Your predicament never determines your destiny.
Mm, beautiful, beautiful. And I'm going to audience put in the show links the link to the original episode for both of these ladies because they have very powerful stories. So I definitely want you to be able to tap into the original episode where we talked about their entrepreneur journey in depth. So today, ladies, my first question to you is what does radical self-love mean to you personally as a Black woman entrepreneur?
Ooh, so good. I was thinking, it means so many things. So I'll say a couple things and let Doctor step in, and then I may jump back in. But
Let's do
uh,
it. Go back and forth.
back and forth. The first thing that hit me that I'm on a journey of now that I'm in the quest to really take in my life is radical self-love as a concept of being able to say no and have the power within to say no to things that may be harming you, even to
Mm,
your habits and ways. I grew up in poverty and homelessness. When you listen to my session with you, Miss Linette, and so I learned some behaviors from poverty and being able to say no to those behavioral patterns that don't serve me anymore. Also being able to say no to things that you may think outside from other people, and standing in your focus and your mission. And also radical self-love means to me is stepping from outside of the world and really going within and listening to what your true inner light is whispering, what your divine destiny is saying within you, and comparing within before you go outside to allow your journey and follow it.
mm, thank you for that.
I think my definition for radical self love is probably pretty simple. It comes down to authenticity, being able to be your true self. And what that means is a lot of us don't know who our true self is. because we've been filled with a lot of inputs from externals, from our family, from other people's opinions, from other people's thoughts, and that we've started to internalize. And so, learning how to listen to yourself, learning how to listen to your heart and actually be authentic is really all it is. But that is a lot of hard work.
Yes, yes.
A lot of hard work to actually listen to yourself. Because,
Mm,
for example, sometimes something just don't feel right. But if I don't have the logic to explain why it doesn't feel right, I'll still do it. I used to still do it. Now
mm.
I said, nope, this don't feel right. I don't know why it doesn't feel right. It may logically seem like it makes sense, but it doesn't feel right. And I'm going to listen to myself and be authentic to how I'm feeling. Even if I don't have the words to write it down, what it is, I'm going to listen to myself and be authentic. So I think a radical self love is learning to listen to yourself, learning to listen to your body. When you feel tense, why are you feeling tense? When you're feeling tired, why are you feeling tired? Learning to listen to your body and give your body what it needs.
Wonderful. So powerful. Powerful what both of you ladies said. Listening to yourself when the logic is not there, right? Because I'm a firm believer that the spirit show is so much more intelligent than the logic, right? So there's going to be a way, and you talked about you're feeling in your body. Your body's going to tell you some things that your brain cannot list out. This is why. So if you learn to trust that messaging from your body, right, you would be surprised at where it would take you. But yeah, learning that. And something you said, Valencia, when you said learning how to say no, my first thought went to saying no to other people, because I love to say no as a complete sentence. But you said saying no to yourself, like to some of the habits you have that are not serving you, some of the things that you learn. That's big. I love that. I'm going to start attaching that to my conversation of no, because a lot of times, you're right, a lot of times we are aware of what's not serving us, but we're not saying no to ourselves, right? We're continuing those habits. Yeah.
Yeah. And we
Wonderful.
know that there's a possibility of greatness on the opposite side of what's not serving us. But
Yes.
gap between transferring from the habit to the alternate is always a very challenging thing. So really loving yourself enough, and I think that's why it's like radically, where
Yes.
you don't, radical means like wild, like it's just shattering. It's
Yeah.
so radical just makes this really big contradiction to what you already know. And I love what the doctor said, even when you don't know truly what the opposite is, radically loving yourself to try it is
Yes. Yes.
super powerful.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
So powerful.
Mm-hmm. So let's talk about growing up in our childhood. What narratives would you say were around you that you internalized when it comes to thinking about success, your worthiness, your beauty, what you're capable of achieving, and if there are things that you needed to unlearn, how have you unlearned them? So when you think about, your childhood, entering adulthood, what are some narratives that were around you?
Yeah, I love, I think about colorism, brown versus lighter skin,
Yes.
hair texture,
Mm.
curly, coilier hair versus a looser curl. Society back in the day, I mean, now we have evolved more, but it's still out there now.
Yeah.
But it was very heavy back in the day. You would turn on music videos and you would only see a lighter tone female with a certain texture hair. And that was depicted as what beauty was, or certain body types.
Yes.
flat stomachs and this,
Yes.
so you were questing, that was pinnacle of a vision. And I love what I start to realize is, okay, that's cool if that is the vision. But then I start to say, like, okay, this is what I'm given. So we're going to be all of what we are
Right.
and shine in that
Right.
and not
Radical self-acceptance.
yes,
Yes.
like
Yes.
radical self-acceptance. And that's consistent, right? Like you always will go in and out. I don't know. I can say for myself, I haven't pinnacled where like I don't have to coach myself back into radical self-acceptance, but truly understanding like, this is the gift that I was given. I got a couple options here. Accept the things that I can't change. Change the things that I can. I used to suck my thumb, and so my teeth were protruding, right? And that wasn't visually great. And I'm like, okay, I can change that. Got braces, and change the things you can change. And then wisdom to know the difference, meaning have a peace with the difference. And what really has served me is being inspired by not comparing. So like when I look outside of myself, everything I see inspires me, but I never put myself compared to it. Once you try to compare yourself to it, you will always find shortcomings. You can always find where you're greater, but then you can always find shortcomings. And so I don't want to live in a world of comparison. I want to live in a world of inspiration. And so if I open my eyes and I see something that I think is great, then now I'm inspired by it. And I'm like, oh, if that's great, then what about that is great? And then what can I take a little piece of to put in my key to unlock more of my light? And that has served me really well.
Love that.
Thinking about unlearning. When I was younger, I went to a camp every year for probably 5 or 6 years called Kids Across America. It was a Christian sports camp. And the top award at this camp every year was the I'm Third award. It was God first, others second, and I'm third.
Okay.
This was the top award they give for the entire camp. Every week they would give someone this award. I won this award every year I was at the camp. To the point of my last 2 years, I tried to intentionally not win it because I wanted somebody else to win it.
Right.
God first, other second, I'm third. I think that's the biggest thing I had to unlearn, that I should not be last. I should not be last.
Yes.
That was a hard thing I'm still unlearning. That when I think a different decision would serve someone else better, I naturally and instinctively want to make that decision despite what impact it has on me.
Right.
And it's been after that, after I didn't really want to do that, but you want to do it, go on, let's do it. Then we do it, then don't go right. Now I'm mad.
Right.
Like you could have said no. Like, you're right, I could have, but you was doing it, so I tried to do it. So that has been a big thing I'm working on unlearning, Kristen's like, Kristen, what do you want? Back to this being authentic. What do you want? Not thinking about what someone else needs. What do you want? And then how can you voice what you want in a way that doesn't undermine the other person? It doesn't break down the system, but it still honors you. So that is one of the biggest things I'm unlearning, is that God first, I'm second, and the others are third.
I love that. And to your point, that's a radical lesson to learn, right? Because like you said, they were giving rewards every week for putting yourself last. Like, in society will communicate to you that it's honorable to be a self-sacrifice, is what I call it. It's honorable to be a self-sacrifice, to say, yeah, I want this, but they want that, so let them have that. And even though I'm miserable,
Yep.
It was an honorable thing that I
Oh,
did,
yeah.
right? We get
Your misery
rewarded.
is your fault.
Yes.
You did it.
And
Yes.
that's so good because that leads into your being authentic, right? Like I learned that really early. I start to realize like, no, do the things you want to do and say no to the things that you don't. I learned it in, I think about college. Everybody, I didn't have anything. So all the girls I was hanging out with want to go out to eat and they were spending money on going out to eat. I barely had coins in my pocket to get a book or to eat, right? And so
Right.
I would always try to figure a way. And then I realized, like, no, not at all. Because one thing is when they lose, they can go to their family. They'll be able to replenish. When I have nothing, I have no one. My mother was super on her ill bed and I had nothing. And so I said, I have to start saying no to the things. And then what I realized is the people that are supposed to be in my life, when I say no to this, they will either be with me or they won't. And that's beautiful because it gets to weed out your true connections in life. Like when you lovingly say, oh, I can't do that. And so now like 20 years later, it's so funny. One of the young ladies, who was a friend of a friend, but I had said these theories so often. She was like, Lia, I'm learning now at this big age of like 45, how do you do that thing? Because I need to start saying no to some things so that I can get to where I need to go.
Right.
You know, because a lot of times we say yes to a lot of things and it's taking you off your journey.
Exactly. Right.
You can't delay your journey for someone else's joy. And you'll never be truly joyful.
You said something there that I have to hop on because it's a current challenge I'm in, is that when you say yes and no and you are authentic, and the people who it doesn't resonate with may
leave
space. That is the current situation I'm in, where my no's have pushed away people who I thought were like my sisters, who I thought would always be here. I have a hard time with that settling in my soul. I'm like, but
they were there for the yeses.
Yes.
But they can't last through the no's.
That's a hard journey I'm in.
It's hard and it's beautiful though when you realize like, okay, God, because you're removing the people that need to be removed or giving space and distance, and you're allowing space for whatever greatness is you need to come from me.
That's what God's telling me, but me and God,
it's painful going in.
I'm like, God, but oh my gosh, like
Right. Right.
Both of them at the same time, like we not have spaced this out. Like,
right? Couldn't it be a very slow process instead of like?
And God's like, looking, Kristen, you want space for more.
Yeah.
I have to create space.
Yes.
Let me create space. I'm like, I know, but no.
Yeah, no, but.
Oh my God, I learned that so early. Like I used to pray if I was in some situation, like, oh God, just remove it if it's meant to be removed. And it was this rhetorical prayer, and God would snatch it. Like it's so painful. Like you could have did that kinder. Okay.
No, you said it. I was waiting for you to say it. You said it. I'm not giving you a chance to change your mind. It's gone.
I know prayer works, but geez.
We just done it with like a little nice.
Yeah, where I barely felt it. No, he's like, no. And part of it is I want this to be obvious to you, so you are aware of this lesson you're learning, right?
Yeah.
I want it to be obvious, so the next time you see it, you know what it is.
Yeah.
And then the lesson I started hearing too is I'm doing it this way because one, you can handle it.
Yeah.
If I couldn't handle it, I wouldn't do it this way. One, you can handle it, and two, I don't want you to forget.
Yeah.
Yes.
So now it's ingrained in your memory.
Yes.
you gonna learn the lesson.
Right.
I can show it to you softly. You haven't got it, so I had to just kick you.
Yeah, exactly.
Because you may try to analyze it out if I do.
There you go. There you go.
I sure would.
Right. He's like, no, I'm gonna paint it very black and white. So
yes. And something you said, Valencia, that I feel was so powerful. You were talking about colorism and hair texture and body shape and flat bellies. And I think a lot of us live a lifetime honoring or putting on a pedestal those images of what a perfect form looks like, right? Based on somebody else's ideal of what beautiful is. And we never embrace our own bodies. And what I realized for myself is now what I tell myself is, you know how people have, different body types that they prefer. Oh, I wish I could just have a flat belly, or I wish I could just be. I'm like, I am my favorite body type.
Oh, that's good.
I am my favorite body type. So I'm not, like you talked about, comparing. I'm not comparing or wishing or seeing anybody else's body type and just wish I just because what you're doing personally is you're hating you're hating your own body. And no one can love this body more than I can. So if I projected all my love and my value and my sense of beauty out there at different other body types, then this body never gets to feel love.
No. And we only get one.
One.
I spent my young years. I've never shared this like openly, but let's go. I spent my young years on a quest. I had a round belly and a flat butt. Like that was my body type, and anything I ate came right to still goes right to my stomach, right? And so I spent this quest trying to get a rounder butt, and I've been all over Mexico almost in different doctor's office getting injections and all of these things. I'm grateful for what I've done, but the repercussions of it, are counterintuitive, spending time trying to get something that you don't have, and maybe I could have just did some squats. And so where I've gotten to right now is like, okay, instead of like truly trying to externally alter yourself, how about, Lia, you put diligent work in to things like, here we go, change the things you can. So there's a thing called exercise, right? Mm-hmm. And there's a thing called eating healthy. Mm-hmm. And how about you focus on those areas, and whatever changes within the realm of those things that you can do, change. And then outside of that, you're preserving yourself from like really questing to do all of these different things. And so I'm not against any plastic surgery. I actually love it a lot. I must say that. But I do think it is beautiful to say, yeah, I can try things on my own to see where that evolves me before really trying to quest outside to reach these pinnacles of what we call beautiful.
Yeah, I think it's really detrimental to us as women and Black women, because there's like so many mixed messages out there about, what's beauty, when it comes to us. But it's always somebody else's opinion of what's beauty when it comes to us, right? So it's kind of like we have to we have to claim that power for ourselves and say, this is the beauty that God made.
Yeah.
So this is like, you might not see it, right? But my existence doesn't depend on whether you see it or acknowledge it or not. I have to. That's my job.
Yeah.
My job is to see it in myself and acknowledge it.
And your beauty radiates once you embrace it. Like, have you saw someone that you may not think is beautiful, but they are living in their own beauty, and then you think they're beautiful? Like, it's powerful when you own your own beauty. Whatever you are deciding. I stopped relaxing my hair many years ago, I had my license in cosmetology, so I love hair and love all the different things, and I love a weave and a wig.
Mm-hmm.
But I was just tired of like putting the chemicals in my hair and burning my head and
Yes.
things, and I was just like, we're just gonna let it go, and
Mm.
it's lovely, you know.
Yes, it is.
It's freeing, it's open, and
Yeah.
yes, I can blow dry it straighter, and yes, I can put a wig in, but I am not ashamed of what truly grows from my
That
head,
part,
you
yes.
know.
Yes, that part, yes. And I think we all have naturals, right? We all are natural, sister. Yes. I went through the same thing, Valencia, with coloring my hair. Like
Mhm.
I colored my hair for a long time, and then I was like, you know what? Because my hair was like, this it's not gonna stick. It's like you can try, but it's not gonna stay. It's in a couple of weeks you're gonna need to redo it, and that's too frequent. So I was like, okay, you win. I just let it go, and and here
Look
we
how
are, and
beautiful,
I
it's
love
so
it.
beautiful.
Yes, I love it, love it. So let's talk about radical self-love in the sense of practices or rituals. So what would you say you do now as far as practices or rituals to help you stay grounded and connected to radical self-love, especially when you come upon a pivotal point, a challenge, right? Because it's easy when things are nice and smooth, but when things get tough, that's when we kind of drop those things we really do every day, right, to stay on task. So, what do you use to help yourself stay grounded and connected with your radical self love?
My radical, the my new strategy, or
Mhm.
my new, what's the word I'm creating? I want to
Routine?
pass routine that I want to pass down.
Okay.
That I've been doing is I need a morning in the morning to just be mine.
Mm.
And so I'm being very intentional about my morning hour. That's just my morning hour.
Mm.
The way I usually spend this morning hour is I go on a jog around my neighborhood. I listen to some meditation, and that's just my hour of focus time. I say some of my affirmations. I try to clear everything out my brain, but that hour in the morning is so pivotal to me. If I don't get it, I can feel a difference.
Mm.
And so the routine of my morning jogs and meditation is a part of my self-care routine because I show up better when I pour
Yes.
into myself first.
Yes. I love that. I love that. What about you, Valencia?
You know, I need to get on that. I'm like, you're speaking my language. My soul says I need it. I haven't caught on to it yet. So thank you. That's confirmation. Like, come on, Leah.
Oh, let's get it.
Let's get it, girl. But what I do, I love talking to myself. I am. If it's called insanity, then go ahead and 302 because I am. I talk to myself and I rationalize with myself. I was just in Belize and I was this Mayan temple. I think it's the second largest Mayan temple. And then I'm like, oh, I want to climb up it because you can climb up it. And so I got to the middle part and fear had just swept over my body. And I'm
Mm.
like rational and irrational feel. Rational because we're pretty high. And irrational is like, girl, hold on, you know? And I do this even when self-love, when I'm not loving myself or I'm doing things against, I start to decide to talk to myself and I'm like, okay, why is this fear present? Okay, I acknowledge you fear. And okay, what are you saying? You're saying be careful because if you step back, you could step off. You're
Mm-hmm.
saying, oh, what if there's spirits here? And like, okay, but that's no proof.
Mm-hmm.
So what box am I going to put you in? And then I'm like, okay. And then you see people at the top. So then you're saying it's possible to get to the top. And so I'm like self-rationalizing this whole conversation with myself and saying, you told yourself you want to go to the top. There's proof of other people making it to the top. be mindful, because fear said if you step back or to the side, you can fall off, but go it to the top. So I'm doing these conversations that really move myself forward, acknowledging all the rational and irrational things that my brain is trying to tell myself, but also like guiding myself through to where I really want to be. And that even goes to things when I'm fearful of like stepping out courageously to reach out to a buyer or something. I really had this thought in my head, like, I hate bothering people. It's the thought I tell myself all the time. And I always hear people who bother people, they're always getting great things, right?
Yes, yeah.
My friends even told me, like, yeah, I got this email from this company every week and I was ignoring it, and then finally I answered because it was like the 100th week, and I'm like, let me just answer the email, and I'm like, this is proof that bothering works in a certain way. And so then I have a conversation with myself, like, you have proof that staying persistent works, but which way do you want to be persistent? You have to be persistent, Lia. Now then curate your persistence in a kind way, in a respectful way, but send the email. You know, so I have these conversations with myself. It really.
I love that. I love what you shared there, especially about the emails, because I think a lot of us have that challenge, like, are we going to be bugging people too much? I went to clean out my junk mailbox one time, right? And I organized it by sender, who it came from. And I just looked at this huge list of emails that I got from this one sender, and it was a seller trying to sell something, but I'm like, they have no problem sending me 3 emails a day. None at all. Thinking that she might just open one over a period of months, right? They're not sitting there saying, I don't want to bother Linette. They're like, send her 3 today, send her 3 tomorrow, send her 3 for 12 months, like you said. If she don't check it, someone else who we sent 3 every day will, right? And once I saw that, I was like you said, I was like, said to myself, well, this is really a marketing strategy, right? It's not bothering me because I can either open it or ignore it.
Right? Or delete them as a whole from the thing, you know?
But if it's like your friend said, if it's the right time and it's something that I'm curious about, then I will open it. Yeah. So I need to give other people that same opportunity. Like today might not be the day for them to open it, but maybe 3 or 4 months down the line it will be. Yeah. So I like what you said there. That's really the business part of taking your personal feelings out of it and saying, okay, this is how marketing is done, right? It's not about bothering. It's about exposure, constant exposure.
Oh, and since we're talking about Black women entrepreneurs, that bother may come from a generational thing.
Yes.
Of us being we're not the
not
ones.
To nag, right, like don't nag,
because Caucasianism, which I love, is bold because someone has said don't. Everyone has said yes, right? Like, and so there is no filter of why you wouldn't. But for us, it's like, oh, we're not even welcomed in the room. Oh, we're not even wanted as a business, you know? So we're living with all of these burdens on top of us. And so shattering that stereotype in our mind and just keep going after it. The buyers eventually answered. Now it took a month, and I got the PO, which is a purchase order.
Oh, wonderful!
So it works.
Yes. I love that.
There's something you said that this really hit me when you were talking about how you like to talk to yourself. There was something you said, you acknowledge the fear.
Yeah.
I think if we could get better at when emotions are happening, acknowledge what it is and start to question, okay, what am I feeling? Okay, I'm feeling uncomfortable. Okay, or I'm feeling scared, or I'm feeling nervous. Why am I feeling that way? Now that I know why I'm feeling that way, what do I do with it? Do I let it change my action, or do I let it guide me in a more careful way? So I think that there is so much power
Yes.
on but back to listening to your body. Okay, what you doing? Okay, you scared? Why you scared? Okay, God, we got this though. Okay, cool, let's go. It's like
Right.
talk to yourself and figure out why are you feeling what you're feeling and how can you go forward with it.
It's going
Right.
to tell you a lot of things, right? You'll get answers, and it'll be real answers. Like, oh, that's something real to be scared about. But okay, I got an answer. I got a solution for that part.
Like I get you. You're right. That is something to be scared about.
Exactly. Right.
I'll hold on with two hands.
Right. I'm gonna hold on, and I'll
Yes.
put this camera this way.
Right.
I'm not going to the camera, but and I was saying, fear is so beautiful. My mother passed at a very young age, late 40s. And I don't even think she made 50. I kind of black out the actual date. But I self-diagnosed her as being paralyzed by fear and generational curses, right? And so I always thought that she had never fully lived in her adult life what I saw. And so I made a commitment to myself to fully live abundantly every day, every moment, and welcome fear as my co-pilot, but not as my pilot. And every time we feel fear, we think a couple things. We paralyze up sometimes. It stops us from doing things. And then sometimes we acknowledge it and say, oh, it must be because I'm not meant to do it, right?
Yes.
We rationalize why fear is protecting us. And the beauty is fear is present for protection generally. And we need to understand, is it rational protection or irrational protection? And then decide, how do I analyze the rational protection to give it an answer? And then tell fear, you don't have to leave. Because I think we try to say, oh, do it without fear, or don't be afraid about it. Yes, you can be afraid. To me, that acknowledges that God exists. Because if I'm fearful, then I am human. And then now I can do all I can do. And then I give it over to God to move the rest to my greatness, right? Because then I say that now God has taken over because I'm fearful. And then I say, let fear ride with you, but don't let it drive. Somebody on Instagram said that. I'm like, that's exactly what I mean. It can be with you. Do it shaking.
Yes.
Do it with hand trembling.
Yeah.
Do it with a quivery voice, but do it. You'll get every time you'll get a success. I mean, you'll do something wrong, right? Make a mistake, and then you'll get back up with fear and you'll try it again, and eventually you'll see victory.
Right.
Ooh, that is a journey, a process I'm going through now, labeling emotions as good and bad. I was doing a lot of labeling. Fear is a bad emotion. Anger is a bad emotion. Hesitancy is a bad emotion. I had to reframe. All emotions have space.
Yes, yes.
All emotions need to.
That part right there, yes. They're all legitimate.
No such thing as a bad emotion.
Right.
Oh, yeah. If you try to live a life where you don't feel the full 360 of them,
There you go.
you aren't living.
Right. Right. And somewhere we got that concept that fear is bad, that there are bad emotions as opposed to. So I run this Black Women Blooming group, and I always ask my sisters to drop in the chat how you showed up today. And it doesn't have to be a positive way that you showed up. You can be overwhelmed, you can be tired, you can be sad. It doesn't have to be a positive, like I'm happy, I'm blessed, you're a real human being. You are able, you are going to be overwhelmed some days. You're going to be tired. You're going to be, sad. So it doesn't matter what your feeling is. Feel legitimate in dropping it in there, because a lot of times we show up at places and people want us to be pumped up and excited all the time, and we're not. We're human being. Okay, I came here, right? But I'm tired. But I showed up because I want to get something from being here. But I didn't show up happy.
Yeah.
Right. I showed up, I'm tired right now. Now, by the end of this, maybe my energy will be raised, but right now I'm just tired.
Yes, yes.
And that's legitimate. You can be tired, right?
Yes.
That's a commitment I made to myself. When people ask me how I'm doing, I'm not just saying good no more. When you say,
Right.
how you doing? I'm like, I don't know. Let me see. How am I doing? Hungry? That's how I'm doing.
My uncle,
Yeah.
just ask him how he felt, how he was, because he went into a full dissertation. And I love that because I was like, don't ask if you don't really care.
There
And
you
if
go.
someone asks you, truly tell them how you're doing. You may
Right.
never know. That's so good. And I was thinking, I'm generally on like a million with energy. And so I have a friend that's very mute. She's very calm, but she's beautiful energy. And she's like, people can misread her very neutral energy as not being pleasant,
Right.
not being engaged. And she was saying how unfair that is because comparing people to what society says is a great, like, oh,
Yes.
Lia's excited, she's totally involved versus someone that's just fully listening. That person is probably taking way more in than I am, right?
Yeah.
Because
Yes.
I'm doing all the darn talking.
Yeah.
They don't want to listen. So I
Right.
think it's really honorable. It made me shift how I express to people. Like, I do think there is power in energy, right? And I do think that it can transform your life, but it does not have to be my energy. It just has to be positive energy. However, your positive energy radiates, that's between you and your God. You know what I mean?
Yes.
As long as it's positive and not expecting people to be, sound, and act like what the world says is good or great.
Right. Right. I love that. I love that. Great information. Pause with me for a second. I just want to thank you for being here. And if this hits home, tap 5 stars, leave a quick comment, and send this to a sister who needs it. You help more women find this space when you share. All right, back to the conversation. So let's talk about how does practicing radical self-love shape the type of clients you attract or speak with? And how does it influence your pricing, your services, or your messaging strategy? So how does it shape the type of clients? When I think about that, I think about entrepreneurs I've spoke with that struggle with setting boundaries for the type of clients, or even having a target market, right? You ask them, so who is your service for? Who is your product for? Well, everybody. Where you can't market to a everybody, client, right? You
Yeah.
can't get a clear message out to a everybody client. So you have to kind of define what that target market is so that you can create messages to that person, to that avatar, so to speak. Fear is that they'll lose out on a sale if they don't say it's for everybody, right? I'm going after anybody and everybody, but you're expending so much energy doing that as opposed to having a focus of what your client is. And then when we talk about pricing your service and your product, a lot of times I found that entrepreneurs experience a challenge where they can be desperate for a sale. So instead of pricing it for its value, like the value that you bring, they would price it so low that anyone can afford it. That's their mindset. Let me price this so low that anyone can afford it, so at least I would sell something. So how does radical self-love work for you in those two arenas?
I think for me, also mirroring, I didn't have a large marketing budget for Black and Green to market. I think it's been 7 years we've been in existence. We probably have spent $1,000 on Facebook ads. Like that's just really not where we put a lot of our money in.
Uh-huh.
What we did, or my theory, my strategy, was just to be my authentic self and tell my real truth. I don't care what the marketing rules are. I'm going to be authentic, And I think my customers saw that I hate being marketed to. Like, I can sense it, and it feels phony, and it feels fake, and it feels money driven, and I don't like it. So we didn't do stuff that felt fake or felt money driven. Like, we were always real, we were always authentic, and I think like recognized like, and we attracted exactly the folks who were meant to find it. So I think it's just being authentic, feeling, and you say, okay, I'm going to show up and be my true self. I'm not going to try to follow these weird marketing trends.
Uh,
One thing this on Instagram is going, next day is this thing. Now you popping all around, you losing focus. Just do, be yourself. Follow what, do what feels good, and then your customers are gonna come from there. At least that has worked for us.
I like that.
I agree. I haven't spent a lot of money on marketing. I think I tried one time. This lady sold me my early years on paying her for PR. I think it was like $1,500. Worst $1,500 I ever spent. One is because it was nothing for her to PR yet. You want to PR, something that has PR stuff going on. So I didn't know that yet. So I was targeted on that. And then like you, I said, I think I maybe spent maybe $1,000 on the Facebook's ad, and I quickly realized for me that wasn't my journey. I didn't want to put the energy in to learn those strategies. And I think it's a skill set there, and I don't have the budget to do that now. And
then we just don't have enough. Like, the people who make, like, people who do well at it are dropping $1,000 a day.
You really have to have money to spend to curate money, and you also have to have money to pay for a strategist that is focused in that field. So not only are you paying the budget for the spend, you need to pay someone who has the knowledge to do it correctly. So
afford to test things.
Exactly.
5 are gonna fail. You spend $5K on that.
And they gotta strategize, why did this one go well, and so that's just a bunch of money, which is great. One day we'll get there. We'll play in that field. But I agree. I think well, a couple things. I was in the concept of like pricing. I hate pricing. I'm always like, oh my God, I do, when I did personal like service, I still consult for people personally, and I cringe over create my prices for that. And then with the jewelry, I cringe. But I just start to realize, like, look, there's costs, especially for a product-driven item.
Yes.
It's way easier because it's like you got COGS, cost of goods, right? You know how much you spent to buy these cost of goods, including shipping. Don't forget all the money that went in to actually get that physical product is a COG, a cost of good. All right, that's a fact. You need to make that money back. And then there's lots of theories online that say, like, do you double times that? Do you triple times that to get your profit? And then you have to realize, what I realized is and then I said, okay, so what do I want to be seen as? And I did have mentors, and they said, this is just a theory, but you don't want to be a middle priced item. You're either going to be cheap, or you're going to be luxury, but you really don't want to be middle price. I'm probably leaning in the middle price right now. But cheap is, I can't even cover my COGS.
Right.
There, right? And so I had to be at a point where I decided, all right, we're going to put the price on that allows me to wholesale it if I need to and still make a profit off the wholesale. And so retail has to be this. And yeah, it may seem a little pricier to me, but then what does the brand actually offer outside of the tangible thing? And that's where another area of value starts to come in. When you start to realize that you're not just giving something physical, your intention and your mission is probably even way more powerful than the physical piece that people get to wear. And then the question is, well, what is that? And then you have to stand in that consistently. And you have to, like you were saying, Doctor, you have to be that every time you show up. Every time you show up, people need to see the same messaging, the same concepts, the same theories, and you have to really realize what your offering is to your audience. And then when you realize what your offering is, so for me, my offering is light, joy, possibility, inspiration, hope. Like that is the feeling that I want everyone to feel and receive when they wear Valencia Key, right? So then what does that look like visually? And so that's marketing in itself, and you can do that on a very less budget. And that's what we're both saying. If you start to, these marketing strategies are very powerful with no budget. When you start to really realize what you want to put out in the world for your business, even if it's a bookkeeping business and it's a service, maybe your messaging is quick, clean books, honesty. And so every time someone shows up in your feed in social media, you're talking about honesty, you're talking about quick, clean, logical books. And then when people start to see that messaging over and over again, it starts to resonate to who your audience is. So I had trouble figuring out like who my audience is, because initially I'm like, everybody too.
Right.
Everybody. And they say everybody doesn't make a sale. Like,
no.
Linette, right? But then how you can find your audience is finding your message first. It's easier to find if you don't know your audience, you find your message and what's your clear messaging. And when you stay clear and concise on your messaging, your audience will find you. And then when you start to look at who your audience is, who is connecting to you, who is responding to you, who is purchasing from you, then you start to see, oh, this is my audience. And then now you can start to tailor in to who your audience is. So that was a lot, but this is a big topic of mine.
Yeah.
I love it. The beauty of Black and Green is that we don't set pricing, that we just carry whatever price the artisan has. And so when they set their price, we honor their pricing. We don't change, we don't compete with them. So I made it a rule that it could have been a strategy that whatever they sell on their website, I'm going to pay for $1 less. So that way people will want to come buy from me because I'm $1 less. And that didn't feel good to my soul. I said, my goal is not to undercut your brand. My goal is for you to shine. And so I don't want to outcompete you. You set your price, I'm going to honor whatever price that you have. And so that was the mindset and the goal, that the way that we use it. And I give advice on pricing. I've talked to people about their COGS and what their MSRP is. I'm like, baby girl, you're underpriced.
Right.
You're not gonna make no money paying.
Right.
Like you gonna lose money. So we gotta change your pricing. So I help coach them on how to get priced correctly, so that way the pricing model works. Because oftentimes the artisans on Black and Green, this is not their full-time job. They still work a traditional 9-to-5. They were looking for a product. They couldn't find it. They started making their own. They shared it with their friends and family. Their friends and family said they love the product. You should start a business. She said, okay, cool. Boom, I'm going to pop out the business. They don't know nothing about starting no business.
Right. Right.
I don't know nothing about starting no business.
That is so true. That you just described most of the journeys. Most of how our journeys begin. They begin because we have a need for something. We create it for ourselves first. And we realize, oh, other people need this too. Then we start expanding and see, well, can I make a business out of this? Right? And then we go there, and then we realize we got 15 different hats we need to wear in being an entrepreneur, right? It's not just you making that thing. That was just one little part of it.
That's tricky.
15 other things you got to do. Yeah. 15 other things you got to do now that you have no knowledge of.
Let me tell you,
you got to do it.
Yeah, I kept running into this with my artists, and my friend said, let me go build a course. So I built a full course to teach folks how to do it, and I haven't moved that course. I don't know how to sell it. I don't know. I don't want to sell it. I just want folks to have the information. So I have a course with all the information for people who have full-time jobs, who want to run a business. I built a whole thing for people who know how to do it. But I don't know how to, I'm not no course seller.
Right.
Get that course. It's so needed. It's like,
It is.
if it's the information you don't know, you do know your passion, you do know your offering, you will find your mission, your audience will find you. But those things in between,
Yes.
that's why entrepreneurs stop. Honestly, I think that's 90% of why, when your stuff's not priced properly, and you don't consider all the cost. And one thing about price, set your price and let it go. People will buy eventually. Don't change. You can go on sale here and again. I do a good sale, but set your price. People will purchase. I realized that. I had this beautiful opportunity that Megan the Duchess wore my joy bracelet, and she was such an angel and mentioned it to her editor, my name and my business, and divine. So I'm so grateful for life to her. And we're buying that without a question. And I had thought like, oh, what am I pricing? And it was not a thought.
Right.
And so set your price and then figure out your messaging. And just keep working on your messaging, keep working on your messaging, keep working on your messaging, work on your quality, work on your messaging, work on your quality, work on your messaging. And eventually people are gonna purchase, because you don't wanna run yourself into financial ruins trying to lower your price, losing, and you won't be able to continue your journey. So let your price stay there. And if one person buys, is better than one person at your higher price buying than 3 people at your lower price buying. Because already if 3 people at your lower cost buy.
Right. Such good information. What do you do at those moments when self-criticism creeps into your entrepreneur journey? Self-criticism or imposter syndrome. Do you ever struggle with either of those?
I don't struggle with imposter syndrome. Thank God. I struggle with too many things. The Lord said, you can't carry that one too.
Right.
I struggle with eating problems, cocktails, and all these things. So, but I do struggle with criticism. Sometimes I do talk sometimes mean to myself, and then I self-talk back. So we go into a good old battle. I'm like, what, girl? You are not that. Look what you've done. You know? Then they're like, okay, or I'm honest, and I'm like, okay, if this is a problem, what are you gonna do about it? You keep saying you don't do this, you don't do that. What are you gonna do about it? And so I do love that conversation between me and myself.
I love that.
I do too. I think I'm trying to think of the right way to phrase this. I think this might sound a little bit bragging on myself, but I've always been historically good at anything I tried. College student, Ivy League, anything I try, I'm good at. So when I started having challenges in my business, it was like, wait a minute.
We don't do
this. It's supposed to be easy. Exactly. We don't do hard.
And so I think that was a learning lesson for me, is that doing something wrong is built in. It's impossible for you not.
I need you to repeat that.
Doing something wrong is built in.
Yes.
So if you are trying to face your business, making all the right decisions, it's not going to happen. You are testing hypothesis after hypothesis after hypothesis. And some of them are going to be wrong hypothesis.
Yes.
Whatever that word is.
Yes. Hypotheses.
Right. And so I had to reframe my interaction with my decisions, And I also realized I was having decision fatigue, that
Yes.
I just got
Yes.
tired of making all the dang decisions. Can someone
Right.
make this decision? I hire folks, they looking at me, I'm like, y'all, what you think? What you think? Like, why you looking at me? I
Right.
know I'm the CEO, but whatever. So I went through a decision fatigue where I just got tired of of making all the decisions and wanting other folks to make decisions,
Uh-huh.
and had to come to grips with sometimes when you're making choices. 50% it'll be right, 50% it'll be wrong. Try to do as more research to make the better choice out of the two, so you can predict to do the one that's more likely to be right. But at
Mm-hmm.
the end of the day, it's still a choice, and it's
Yes.
still a choice where you're likely going to still do half of them wrong. You got to
Mm.
be okay with that. And so
Yes.
that took a lot of work for me to get okay with this. With I'm making decisions, I'm still making half of them wrong.
Right. Right. I love that, because one of the things that struck me when I was starting my journey with the podcast is that I discovered that Black women-owned businesses are the fastest growing new businesses in the U.S., but we have a 97% failure rate. So out of every 100 businesses we start, only 3 make it to 5 years and beyond. And when I heard that statistic, I was like, what?
I understand why.
Yes, yes. And what we're talking about, what you were just spoke about, Dr. Edwards, is a big reason why, because we make mistakes and then we feel like, oh, that's a sign I shouldn't be doing this, right? I made that wrong decision and I got 3 or 4 things wrong, and okay, I'm done. It's just too much, right? As opposed to knowing that's just part of your journey. That part never ends, right? You never get to a spot where everything you decide works out perfectly
Yeah.
and brings you 100% profit. That's not realistic. But I think so many of our new Black women entrepreneurs get caught up on what they see on social media, right? They see everybody smiling and they taking trips and they're happy and they got 20,000 followers, and they thinking, well, why I'm over here with just 3 people following me and I'm struggling? Because when they were struggling, they didn't take those pictures.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't pause when they were crying and frustrated to take a selfie and post it. So you would never see that. So that is not 100% of the journey. That's only the highlights.
Yep.
But if you're just stepping into this, you don't know that. So you're thinking it's supposed to look like that, as opposed to it's supposed to look like what you're going through.
You look at the highlight reel.
Yeah, you look at the highlight reel thinking that's it. That's only part of it.
And I also think we fail because we're already, can't speak for all of us, but we're already starting with little to no capital. Right? And then the world says, throw money at it. The world says, throw money at these marketing Facebook ads. The world says, go hire this person, go pay somebody to do your website, go pay somebody to create your LLC, go pay somebody to do this. And you are spending money left and right. We outspend our business. And so I would encourage people to stop outspending your business until your business is producing the capital to spend. Be the most frugal business spender ever. Create your own website. Yep. Do your own LLC. Do everything capable in your will. And yes, will you be doing many things? That's just an entrepreneur, whether you spend money at it or not, you're still doing all the things. But you are trying to preserve the capital for the things that really matter.
That's it.
Right. You need to preserve the capital for the products or for whatever you're doing for your service, whatever for your travel, whatever you're doing, think of a capital, preserve it. And then the other thing is I watch so many businesses grow. I've been honored to watch that. And so it's very inspiring to see that you can grow. I haven't gotten there yet, but it's coming. But what I noticed is you never stop making all the decisions. And I also noticed if you do stop making all the decisions, your business is no longer your business, and it's going to take a whole nother path into a whole nother journey that may drive it into the ground.
Mm-hmm.
So you should take ownership that even if I pay someone, I am going over everything that they do, not to be a bottleneck, but to be a guardrail, to have the mission and the energy that you want to go out into the world be that. Because once you start letting people take over, then it's no longer your mission. And then you're so far out of control, then it's very hard to get it back to the mission that you want it to be.
Okay, ladies, what's one message you'd like every Black woman entrepreneur to hear about radical self-love in business?
You can do it.
We both been talking the same.
No, but Dr. Edwards.
No, I already heard yours. I didn't finish mine. So go on and get
It's yours. Yes, sir.
Your business is a reflection of you. So it's imperative that you are whole. Because if you aren't whole, your business won't be whole. So always invest in yourself to make sure that you are whole. And your business will reflect that. So the healthier that you are, the healthier your business will be.
I love that.
So good. I think mine's is you can do it, and just be very income and money conscious as you're making decisions. And like Dr. Edwards said, every failure is not the catalyst that you should stop. It is a learning lesson for you to take one key that's going to unlock another door for you. And so it can be a key to close the door, or it can be a key to unlock another vessel. Like I fail every day. I mean, every time I get an opportunity, I'm like, this is going to be the one. And then it's not the one. And I cry, and I'm like, oh, I thought it was going to be that. And I get all these returns. And then if you decide that your message and your mission and your purpose is worth more to keep going. It's greatness on the other side.
Wonderful. Ladies, as we close up, is there anything else you have on your mind, on your heart? Maybe a question that I didn't ask you, a comment that we haven't discussed that you want to make sure you share with the audience before we close out? Feel free to do so now.
Yeah. Just trust yourself. You have all the answers. Like, you know what to do. Just trust yourself and listen to yourself. And when you don't know, ask for help. Asking for help ain't never hurt nobody. So always ask for help when there's something you just can't figure out, and trust your instincts. Like trust yourself, trust your instincts. When something feels right, do it. I'll never forget, I had an investor who wanted to invest in Black and Green, and I said, nope, it just don't feel right. No logical reason.
Right.
It didn't feel right.
Love it. Miss Valencia.
I would say what I'm working on now. So I haven't gotten to this point, but I want to tell you so you can start. Start your business with, you'll hear about your books being in order. And I'm like, what are your books? Like, I don't know what your books are. I mean, it is the foundation of how your business is, the strength of your business, and how you know where you are and where you're going. So really categorize all your expenses, really have a separate bank account, truly honor that as separate, and write down every expense, why it is what it is. Write down every dollar that's coming in, why it is what it is, and structure your financial foundation really clean and orderly in the beginning. Because at some point, I believe that you will grow, and you just want to be in a really clean place where you're not trying to clean up messy things in the beginning, where I'm at right now. I'm like, I know I'm on a verge of breakthrough, but I think God's like, you got to get this in order
before
before we pop, when someone opens and looks at what this looks like, your ledgers, it needs to be clean. And if you start clear and focused in the beginning, it's way easier than trying to go back and clarify. And I don't hear many people talk about that. We always talk about the dream and the vision.
Yeah.
But you're not business unless you have a financial structure.
That's right. That's
really
right.
Bookkeeping and your
I love that because I'm in the process of launching a bookkeeping company for that precise purpose. Because as I've interviewed my Black women entrepreneurs, I've discovered that we need that. That's my background is in accounting, building accounting departments for entrepreneur companies. So I call it compassionate accounting, which is when you talk about what is your value that you bring. So that's the value I bring is compassionate accounting, being able to break it down into bite-sized pieces that doesn't overwhelm the entrepreneur, but also doesn't make them feel like they're lacking something because they don't already know this, right? I think a lot of people in the accounting profession have historically been very judgmental, very harsh, very, crass about communicating. So I think we need compassionate accounting because these are not things that we hear in our environment daily, right? It's like new information, but it's very important because it is the foundation of business, your money, your earnings, your expenses, right? So
you have a hobby. If you don't have the book in order, you have a hobby. I may have a hobby right now, so we
But you just said everything that I'm telling my entrepreneurs to get that separate bank account. Make sure you categorize all your expenses because we pay more taxes than we should because we have expenses coming out of every different account, every different credit card, and we're afraid to really put them together in one spot and see what they really are.
Yeah.
But then we're paying more taxes than we need to because we didn't deduct those expenses.
It's so much tax strategy out there. If we really have this in handle. And even if you are purchasing from your personal bank account, write yourself an invoice that your business pays yourself back. Like you, Linette, what your company will do is what I'm actually looking for. Someone who really cares enough to help hone that business owner in and say, okay, that's great. That's fine. You purchased it from your personal account. Now we're going to get an invoice created so that we can pay yourself from the business account back. So now it's back a business expense.
Right.
Like yours.
Exactly. To meet you where you are, not where you expect it to be or what perfection looks like, but wherever you are, this is where we're going to start and get you where you need to be. So
yes, I'm excited.
So again, thank you, ladies. I really appreciate you being a part of our roundtable on the women of color in business. You brought such beautiful insights, such transparency into your own journey to share with the audience to help them learn and understand about radical self-love and how it plays into the Black woman entrepreneur experience. So before we close out, I want to give you both a chance to tell our audience, how can they connect with you? What are the best platforms? What is your website address? We'll begin with Dr. Edwards.
Yes, my website is www.blkgrn.com. We're on every social media channel, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok at BLK and GRN and Pinterest, you name it, we are on there.
Wonderful. Valencia.
Find Valencia Key at www.valenciakey.com. That's V as in victory. VALENCIAKEY.com. I'd love for you to just join. You can just put your email in and stay connected. I hope it at least brings you joy when you land to the website. And I'm mostly on Instagram, and you can follow me personally at Lia Valencia Key. I'm always trying to shine some light every day. And my business, Valencia Key Design, where you can see others wearing and unlocking their courage and possibility wearing Valencia Key. I need to get on TikTok. I'm there, but I need to be more prevalent on there.
Beautiful, beautiful. So thank you both for being here with us today. And as always, we wish you the very best of joy, health, and wealth. This episode is brought to you by Empower Her Merch, thoughtfully designed pieces created to support women in business, from journals and mugs to t-shirts and everyday reminders. Each item is rooted in clarity, intention, and care. They make meaningful gifts for the woman entrepreneur in your life, or a beautiful way to honor yourself. You can explore the collection at your pace and carry this support with you wherever you work and create. Visit empowerherbusiness.us and shop today. You've been listening to the Empower Her Business podcast. And before you go, I want to thank you for being here. If this episode supported you, please pay it forward. You can do that by hitting the follow button, rating us 5 stars, leaving a comment, and sharing us with others. This is how we ensure the podcast reaches more sisters in business. Until next time, I wish you the very best of joy, health, and wealth. Be well.